my God, when I looked at it, it looked horrible because it was like fresh from surgery. I started to panic and I was panicking and I was like, it's not my job. I'm not dealing. Someone come and sort this tranny out, basically. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome if you're new. My name is Lauren and today I'm going to be doing a video talking about my sexual reassignment or bottom surgery experience. Now girl, this video is not going to be like every other person's SRS video that you've seen. I had complications, I had things that went wrong, so let's get into the video. This is probably about 5 years ago, 5.5, 6 years ago. Crazy, but I don't celebrate my vagina's birthday, so I don't actually know the exact date. Anyway, so it's about 4 or 5 years ago that I had this done, and first of all, I'm going to talk about my reasons why. Now, for me, I wanted to have reassignment surgery because for me it was what made me feel complete and what made me feel more comfortable with my body, and what also made me feel as though I could just get on with my life and move forward. And I understand that this is not for everybody. This is my experience and this is how I feel about my surgery with my body. And I've thought long and hard about whether I actually want to share this story with people, but I feel as though because mine wasn't such plain sailing, that I figure I will share it with you guys because I think it might help someone who is either thinking about it or going through a very similar situation to me now. So let me talk about the build-up to having the surgery. So the build-up to having the surgery, when I say this, I mean the build-up to the appointments and everything before you get approved. In the UK, you can get your reassignment surgery paid for on the NHS. I'm pretty sure this is still the case now. This is the only surgery that they recognise in the UK. Everything else is seen as cosmetic, even hormones. You pay for your own hormones and things. So the reassignment surgery is the only thing that in the UK that they will cover for you. So it's the only thing that they will pay for you, which is, I'm really grateful and really lucky to be in the UK, to be able to receive this, essentially. So really, really lucky. The build up to it was quite a while, so I don't know if you know, the system here in the UK is a little bit different, and you have to go to numerous appointments and appointments and appointments and be X amount down the line, or X amount far down the line, before you will even be recommended or suggested for surgery. So I was far, far, far down this line. So far, in fact, that I'd had my boobs done and my face done before I even had my reassignment surgery done. So I was pretty much set, and it was the last thing that I needed to have done. And I kind of, until I had my boobs and my face, I never had any operations or anything. So by the time it came to having down there done, I was pretty set. I knew the routine, I knew the procedure, and I was pretty much comfortable with hospital appointments, comfortable with anaesthesia, comfortable with needles, comfortable with all of this. So what basically happened was I got the approval for surgery from my psychiatrist. He was like, okay, it's probably going to be like a year to year and a half, maybe 2 years. You're just going to have to wait and see. When there's an available appointment, we'll contact you and we'll let you know. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, I get it. There was obviously a waiting list because there was loads of people waiting for this surgery. And I was like, okay, fine. So I go home and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And they recently opened this new hotel. They opened this new hospital that was for this type of operations and some other forms of operations, I think. Or this is where a percentage of these operations were being done in this hotel, as opposed... It's the hospital, not a hotel. In this hospital. as opposed to the main hospital, which meant more slots became available. Basically, there was 4 people who did this surgery. There was a woman, and then there was 3 male doctors. I'm not mentioning names in this because what's the point? I had the female doctor. She did my surgery, and I was thinking, oh, thank goodness, like she's going to make it look natural. She's going to make it look not the same as hers, but she's going to understand from a point of view, and she's going to make it look amazing. And I was like, yes. So anyway, they contact me and they go, hey girl, we basically have some appointments available. Do you want to come in like 5 weeks? And I was like, yes! So I jumped on the appointment. I got the appointment. I got it all approved with work, obviously, because this is life-changing surgery. They're not going to say no to me. So, cut to day of surgery. I go to the hospital. We're getting ready. I'm just talking to my doctors. Everything's going fine. I'm going down for surgery. I have made notes here. I'm going down for surgery, and I have it done and everything. And I think I stayed in hospital for a week and a half recovery after. So honestly, I know there was pain and it was hot, it was uncomfortable because I had morphine on a drip that I could like click. So I know that there was pain and things, but for me, all I wanted was to have this surgery. So I was ready for the pain. After my face, I was ready for the pain. Girl. So I had my surgery done. It was all fine. There was no complications. Everything was perfect. It happened. It went through. The nurses there were amazing, really kind, really helpful, really looked after you. And of course, as soon as, I think it was probably, they want you to go and pee by yourself straight away. So they have you go and pee by yourself. I think like the next day, they take the catheter out and they have you pee by yourself. And as soon as your catheter is out, you can then start dilating. So you dilate, which is basically these kind of dildo-like apparatus. They're not made for pleasure. They're made for opening and keeping your depth while you're healing. The ones that they give you in the hospital, these like clear, let me see, I think I still have them. Let me go and see. Yeah, here they are. So, the ones they give you in the hospital in the UK are these. Horrible, hard, not comfortable dilators. You have a small one and you have a large one. And these just hurt like a bitch because they're so strong and rigid, they just hurt. But you have to do it to try and maintain depth during your healing process. So of course I did this, and then when you go home, you do it as well. You do 15 minutes with the small one, then it was 20 minutes with the bigger one, if I can remember, or half an hour with the bigger one. Anyway, after that, I progressed. When I got home, and after the healing process was all sorted, I actually went on to these. I bought these off Love Honey. 4 different sizes. This one is tiny. Like that's tiny, tiny, tiny. And then you have these, and you have the medium and the large. So if you see them compared, they're just more comfortable because they have more of a natural curve, like a penis, I guess. So it slips inside. Anyways, I'm going to be doing a video about dilating soon as well, so we can focus just on dilating. So I'm doing this and doing everything. Anyway, you just have to keep it clean and fresh and keep everything all tidy and everything. Recovery, generally, you can't really do much. You just have to let your body heal. As long as you're keeping your area clean and you're dilating, you should be fine. One thing I will say though, my God, when I looked at it, it looked horrible because it was like fresh from surgery. My clit looked like it was bleeding, but it calms down when it heals and it looks pretty, it looks normal. And the way that mine looks is perfect now. Okay, I shouldn't say that. It's not perfect, but it looks. My boyfriend tells me it looks natural. My boyfriend tells me it looks like everybody else's. It looks prettier. It's just he tells me that it looks pretty and it's normal basically. That's what my boyfriend says. So yeah, everything was going fine. The healing was going fine, and it was all good until one day. I was thinking, I really need to go for a wee. So I go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, think, oh, I'm going to wee now, as you would. Nothing. I'm on the toilet and I'm literally like, straining to get this pee out to get some relief. Nothing. Nothing is coming out. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? It's blocked. So from this point on, I panic. I stop drinking anything. I don't drink anything at all. And I start to panic. And I'm thinking, shit, what the fuck? I can't pee. So then I tell my mum and she's like, oh my God, what do we do? Kind of thing. So where I had the surgery was in London. And then I'm back at home, not in London. I'm not going to tell you where I live. I'm back home, not in London. I'm probably like 3-4 hours away from London, where I live. So me and my mum were like, okay, let's not panic. We go to A&E, essentially. So we go and see A&E and we sit there and we just basically explain what's happened. Nobody in, like, the receptionist is like, what? Sex change? Why are you here? We're not, what? This is the wrong place. You shouldn't be here, kind of thing. And no one understood what we were talking about. No one got it. And when I got called through into the room, the nurse there was explaining, I was trying to explain to him what had happened. I explained to him I just had reassignment surgery and this and that. And I said, I can't pee. I said, I need something to relieve. Like, I can't wee, I can't pee. I need help. And I started to panic and I was panicking and I was like I couldn't breathe and all of this and I'm freaking out and I'm crying and the doctor's like, you need to calm down or I can't help you. He's like, you need to calm down or I can't help you. And I said, no, please, you don't understand, like I'm dying to go for a wee. And I remember when I was waiting to go through in A&E to be seen, the urge to pee was so horrific. Imagine when you're desperate for a wee and you physically cannot pee. The only type of relief I could get was to run to the bathroom, sit on the toilet, pretend like I just peed, and I get 1 second of relief. Like, then it doesn't go away because the urge to pee is still there in my stomach. Still there in my stomach. But anyway, so I'm in this room and he's like, I can't help you if you don't calm down. And really, I should have been calm, but I was so freaked out and so panicking that I just couldn't. And I was freaking out. So he just left the room and just left me in there and I'm sat on the floor crying. And he never came back. He just left me in there. So then I came out and sat back in the waiting room and I said, the doctor just left me. And they were like, yeah, he said you wouldn't calm down, so he's not going to help you. And I was like, and then I started crying on the desk and I'm like, no, please understand, like, this is, please. So I have to sit down and wait again and then I go see a different doctor. And he comes and sees me with like a stomach scanner thing. I don't know what it is. It basically scans your stomach and scans liquids in your stomach. And it was him and a nurse. And the nurse was doing my thing. And then they both said to me, oh, I have nearly like, I think they said like 2.5 or 3 litres of liquid in my bladder. And I'm like, that's really bad. That's crazy. By the way, my stomach is bulging like crazy. Like, I normally I had quite a flat stomach back then and my stomach is bulging. And I physically can't pee. I look pregnant. And I was probably in A&E for a good like 2-3 hours. And then the nurse turns to me and she goes, oh, but don't worry. Your bladder can hold up to like 5 litres, 3 litres before it bursts. 5 litres or 4 litres before it bursts. And I'm like, oh. And I said, well, can we get it out? Can you do something to get it out? And she was like, no, we don't do that here. And I was like, what? this is a hospital, please, someone help me. She says, we're going to send you over to a different hospital, which is about 35 minutes away. So we're going to send you out to a different hospital. They deal with, I honestly think they just didn't want to deal with me. I just think they couldn't be asked with me. And they said they deal with, they deal with this there. So they're going to help you, don't worry. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, I'm scared. Because in my head as well, I'm thinking, okay, I've not drank anything else. Sorry, my voice is really dry. I'm talking too much. I was thinking, I've not drank anything else, but how do I know the liquid that's not gone through my body is not going to keep building and adding to it as it's sorting out the waste? I was thinking, I don't know this. Anyway, so at this point, the pain is so unbearable. My bladder is so full. It's pressing on all my organs that I have to get in a wheelchair to get to the car, to get my mum's car to go to the other hospital. So we get to the other hospital. And I'm sitting there and I'm waiting, which is fine. Like, I get it. I'm not moaning about waiting. There's other people there that need to be seen as well. So I'm waiting. And then I finally get seen and this doctor pulls me in and I explain to him what's gone on. And I say, I can't pee. Like, it's I don't know what's going on. Like, I can't pee. Nobody knew what to do. This doctor didn't know what to do. He didn't know, this is not what I deal with. Why have you come here? He goes, I don't deal with transsexual people. You don't deserve to be here. Or basically saying like he didn't want to deal with me and I'm not supposed to be here. And then he gets a catheter, which a catheter is a long tube with kind of like a tap thing that you attach to the end and it goes into a bag. So he takes this catheter and he literally starts jabbing it in my freshly surgical vagina. So just takes this thing, like this is my vagina, takes it and just starts going, oh, where do you pee from? Where do you pee from? Like, where do you pee? And I'm thinking like, I don't fucking know. And he's like, where do you pee? And then, do you know what the worst thing is? I don't know if this guy had never seen a vagina before, because he literally took the catheter and was like, and basically put the catheter into my clit, shoved it in my clit. The fucking catheter in my clit. I was like, ow, that's my clitoris, what are you doing? And then when I said that, he chucked the catheter on the tray, turned around, slammed the door, left it, you know when you slam a door, and because you slam it hard, it kind of goes and opens a bit. It opened a bit. And there's a phone outside the room. It's near the nurses or the doctor's little corner bit. You know where all the phones are? And he's on the phone. And he goes, someone come and deal with this bloody tranny. I'm not dealing with this person. It's not my job. I'm not dealing. Someone come and sort this tranny out, basically. Just basically calling me a tranny and saying, I'm not dealing with her. She's disgusting. This is blah, blah. So then this really, really kind doctor comes down. And by the way, this other doctor just took me to a corridor with a bed, chucked me on there and just started doing it in a corridor. People were like walking near and things like this. So anyway, this really nice doctor comes down and he takes me into a bed and puts a screen around me. And he says, right, tell me what's going on. So I told him. And then he started pushing on my stomach and on my bladder and said, where does it hurt? Where does it hurt? And he said, look, he goes, I have no experience with this kind of surgery or this kind of recovery. So I don't know what to do down there. And I was like, okay, I understand. Girl, I need a drink. I have to get a drink in a minute. And so I said, okay, I understand. He said, what I can do for you though, is I'll make an incision on your tummy line just below the belly button. And what I will do is I will insert a catheter into your bladder. So I'll pierce your bladder slightly and I will insert the catheter into your bladder through your stomach. And then we can drain your bladder because this bladder needs to be drained. And I was like, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for actually wanting to help me. I can't believe there's so many people, how many medical professionals I encountered that just didn't want to help me. And it wasn't that they didn't know what to do, because this doctor that came just now, he didn't know what to do, but he calmly stood there and explained to me, I'm not familiar with the surgery. I don't know how to proceed down there or what to do, and I don't want to damage it or make it worse. Unlike this other doctor who was just jamming stuff everywhere. And he said, we're going to try an alternative. And I said, okay. So he does the incision. And I'm just saying that I really respect that about him. He wasn't just trying to be, I'm not helping you, go away. Like I'm some disgusting piece of disgusting. So he makes the incision on my stomach, inserts the catheter, and it's like, instant relief for me. I'm not joking you when I said, when he inserted it, it must have gone like, because I heard like a pop and all this liquid coming out like a fountain, and then it all drained into the into the catheter bag. The catheter bag is about this big, right? Like this. I filled 4 of them. 4 of them in one go. And it was just instant. And they had it filled and they had to put a new one on. So they had to put a new one on. That's how crazy it was. And I was so thankful and so grateful to him for really wanting to help me. So I have this situation now, and I honestly think that I think my bladder is scarred and my stomach has never been the same since that. So I guess it's almost like, you know, when you have childbirth and they say your body's never the same. I think because of the incisions and things there, my body's never been the same. And it's fine. Like, I accept my body. I still think I have a nice body. Self-confidence is key. So I am comfortable with it. But my body changed instantly from that moment. Instantly. It's just always as if the stomach is bloated because it's irritated from doing that. But I'm so grateful that he did that, because otherwise I don't know what would have happened. I literally have no idea. So cut to now, he drains me out, you know, sorts me out. I have the catheter in my stomach still, and he gives me like loads of bags, and I'm basically for the next month, until the people in London who are going to do revision surgery can do me, I have to wait a month. So I have this pee bag on my leg for a month. It came with straps and I strapped it to my leg. Girl! So I have this on for a whole month, and then I go back and I go and see, it's a different surgeon this time, because my original surgeon who did it was basically, she was really pregnant. So she was probably, I didn't even know how pregnant she was. But I mean, it was a month later and she was on maternity. So she was very close to leaving for maternity. So I had one of the male doctors who came and who came in to see me, checked me out and looked at this. And he basically said that where I normally pee from, so the pee hole, had healed over and healed shut completely. And he said this is not uncommon, but it's very rare. And I thought, okay, quite rare. So when I was having this appointment, he was telling me all these things and I wasn't really registering what he was telling me. And he was saying to me, you know, oh, you may never pee normal again. You're going to have this bag. And I was thinking, I've lived with this bag for a month. Like, I just want to get it done. And he's saying, I can't get you in for another 3 months. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So he actually managed to get me in like a month later. But I was really crying, and I was crying so much to a point that I think it was upsetting the doctor, because the doctor had to leave. And I feel bad, but ultimately this was my body and it's all I've ever wanted, and it got fucked up. And it had a complication. It got fucked up. I guess I had, out of all my 3 surgeries, this is the only one that I had a complication for, so this is obviously good. But I think he just got upset, and then there was a nurse there, she talked to me, because she could understand. And I think the doctor found it hard, because he didn't do my original surgery. I think he found it hard to process, because he didn't do it. So there's not much he could really say. So I have my revision surgery, which is good. And I have it done and it's okay. And girl, I got home, everything's healing again as normal, and I get an infection. Anything that could have gone wrong with this surgery, it literally went wrong. Well, okay, it didn't all go wrong, but so much went wrong. So I got an infection. I had to be on antibiotics, and once that infection cleared, it was fine. But that fucked me up. Like, I was in bed and I couldn't move, and we had to get a doctor to come out to the house because I physically couldn't get out of bed. I was that weak, and the doctor knew instantly. He's like, "You've got an infection." So he gave me these antibiotics, and I was doing all this stuff to clear this, which obviously worked, and it's fine. And what I had to do as well was, obviously I had to still dilate, but he gave me these kind of long catheters, which is like a tube on. And what I had to do was I had to insert that into like where I pee every day for about a year. And by doing that, the idea was it would never heal over. And it worked because it hasn't healed over since. So once it all healed and it recovered, it hasn't healed ever since. So that's really good. And I'm thankful because I have a functioning vagina and I can pee from it and it works and it looks pretty. It looks really nice, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, am I happy at the end of everything now? Yes. All the complications aside, would I do it again? Yes. And to be honest, even with the complications, I wouldn't not do it just because of that. Because I'm 100 times happier. I'm so much more comfortable with who I am. And I'm so much more comfortable with just living day-to-day life. I don't think about being trans anymore. I just live my life. I just live my life and be happy. I've got hiccups. I just live my life and be happy. Because it's surprising how when the major thing that is giving you the most dysphoria disappears, it's amazing how much you forget about your past and how much you feel as though you're moving forward. So I hope this story of my SRS journey helped you, was interesting, gave you some insight into a not so perfect reassignment surgery or bottom surgery, because I was one of these people, I thought this is never going to happen to me. I'm not going to have complications. I'm going to have everything. It's going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be a problem. Like, I was thinking it's going to be a breeze because I kind of walked through essentially my other two in terms of the recovery process. I did what I was told. I kept things clean. I took the medication that I needed to. I rested. I allowed myself to heal. And with this one, I did all those things, but this still happened. So it was kind of thinking in my head, it's not something I've done. Or maybe it might not even be something that the surgeon's done. It's not their fault. They've done hundreds of thousands of these operations. You just happen to be in that very small number that has a complication. And it's easily revised, but it can happen. And I went into this thinking that I would never be that person. Complications, and you know, they give you the paper and they're like, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen, and like, yeah, oh my gosh, I totally understand. And you know, you listen and you go, sign it away. And I never really gave a second thought to complications. And I think mainly because social media and I'm going to say other YouTubers, because there are other YouTubers out there who I watched who had SRS, and they didn't really talk about complications. They didn't really talk about difficult recovery process. They didn't really talk about anything that was difficult with their surgery. So I thought, what have I got to worry about? It doesn't really, fine. So I'm sharing my story with you so you can hopefully, I mean, I think if you know if you want it done or not. But I mean, you can make an informed decision with all sides of the argument and not just a fairy tale story of, I had SRS, it was amazing, I recovered, perfect. Because I mean, there's a lot more details. If you wanted me to do a part 2 to this, where I talk about the intimate, gross details of the actual SRS surgery, packing, dilating, was bleeding in the shower. I can talk about this if you want a part 2. Let me know down below. But as always, please give me a like, comment and subscribe. Share your experiences with me if you're trans. What are you thinking? And if you have any questions, leave them below. I'll answer them as best I can. But yeah, I hope this inspired you or helped you to make a decision. And until next time, I'll see you all soon. Bye!